On the morning of February 2nd, 2022, a single person sitting at a computer executed a sequence of commands. No gun, no mask, no getaway car. In less than 10 minutes, they had stolen over $1 billion. Not from a bank, not from a government, from something that millions of people believed was unbreakable, a blockchain bridge called Wormhole. This is the story of the largest DeFi hack in history at the time, and the hacker who pulled it off left behind a trail that nobody expected. $1 billion in minutes. To understand how someone steals $1 billion in crypto, you first need to understand the world they stole it from. By 2022, the cryptocurrency market had exploded into something nobody in traditional finance had ever seen before. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, hundreds of coins, thousands of tokens, a parallel financial universe operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with no central authority, no Federal Reserve, no off switch. At the heart of this new world was something called DeFi, decentralized finance. DeFi promised to replace banks, replace brokers, replace everything. Instead of trusting JP Morgan with your money, you trusted code, smart contracts, self-executing programs written on the blockchain that would hold, move, and manage money automatically. No humans needed. But there was a problem. Different blockchains don't talk to each other. Ethereum and Solana, two of the biggest, are essentially different countries with different languages and different currencies. If you had money on Ethereum and wanted to use it on Solana, you couldn't just send it directly. That's where bridges came in. Blockchain bridges are exactly what they sound like. They allow assets to travel between blockchains. You deposit money on one side, and the bridge mints or creates a corresponding token on the other side. It sounds elegant, it sounds safe, but bridges, it turned out, were one of the most dangerous structures in all of crypto, because bridges held enormous amounts of money in one place, and enormous amounts of money in one place attract extraordinary people with extraordinary skills and no moral compass. Wormhole was one of the most important bridges in the entire crypto ecosystem. Built by a company called Jump Crypto, one of the most respected quantitative trading firms on Wall Street, Wormhole connected Ethereum to Solana, and it was trusted with hundreds of millions of dollars of user funds at any given moment. In early 2022, it was holding approximately $320 million worth of Ethereum alone. The protocol was audited, the code was reviewed. The team behind it were not amateurs. These were world-class engineers and traders who had built some of the most sophisticated financial systems on Earth. And yet, deep inside the code, buried in a function almost no one would ever look at, was a mistake, a single flaw, a logical error so subtle that multiple security audits had missed it. Someone found it. To this day, we don't know exactly who that someone is, but we know exactly what they did. February 2nd, 2022, early morning. On the Solana blockchain, an address that had never been seen before began interacting with the Wormhole protocol. At first glance, nothing unusual. But what this address was doing was extraordinary. Here's how Wormhole was supposed to work. You deposit real Ethereum on the Ethereum side. The bridge sees your deposit and mints wrapped Ethereum, or WETH, on the Solana side. It's essentially an IOU. You can redeem your wrapped ETH for real ETH whenever you want. For this system to be safe, every wrapped token needs to be backed by a real deposit. 1 WETH equals 1 real ETH locked in the vault. The hacker found a way to break this rule entirely. Inside Wormhole's code was a function called Verify Signatures. Its job was simple. Check whether a transaction had been approved by enough of Wormhole's guardian nodes, the validators that confirm whether a deposit is real. But there was a vulnerability in how the code validated those signatures. Wormhole was using a deprecated Solana function, one that had been phased out, and crucially, the replacement validation wasn't properly enforced. The hacker discovered that they could fake a guardian signature. They could create a message that looked like it had been verified by the network's validators, when in reality, it had been verified by nobody. It was like forging the bank manager's signature on a withdrawal slip and the bank's computer accepting it as real. Using this forged verification, the hacker submitted a fake deposit of 120,000 Ethereum. Wormhole's smart contract looked at the forged signature, accepted it as valid, and minted 120,000 wrapped ETH on Solana, worth approximately $320 million. At this point, The bridge held 120,000 real ETH on the Ethereum side for other users. The hacker now held 120,000 WETH on Solana, backed by absolutely nothing. They had conjured $320 million from thin air. Then they moved fast. Within minutes, they began converting their fake WETH into real assets, swapping portions on decentralized exchanges, moving funds across wallets, layering transaction after transaction to make the trail harder to follow. The entire exploit, from the first transaction to the last, took less than 10 minutes. When Wormhole's team woke up that morning, $320 million was gone. At 6:24 a.m. UTC, an alert fired at Wormhole's monitoring systems. Transactions that should not exist. Token balances that didn't add up. Something was catastrophically wrong. Within an hour, Wormhole's team had confirmed the unthinkable. They posted on Twitter, now X, with clinical understatement. The Wormhole network is down for maintenance. In the crypto world, down for maintenance after a suspicious spike in transactions means exactly one thing: the internet erupted. On-chain detectives, blockchain analysts who spend their days reading transaction data like others read newspapers, immediately began tracing the funds. The hacker's wallet was visible to anyone. That's the strange paradox of crypto crime. The thief is anonymous, but every move they make is recorded on a public ledger forever. Blockchain analytics firms like Elliptic and Chainalysis began mapping the transactions, tracking where the stolen ETH was flowing. Meanwhile, Wormhole's team did something remarkable and somewhat unprecedented. They posted an on-chain message directly to the hacker's wallet. In plain text, embedded in a blockchain transaction for all eternity, they wrote, "We noticed you were able to exploit the Wormhole VAA verification and mint tokens. We'd like to offer a white hat agreement and present a bug bounty of $10 million for exploit details and returning the WETH that was minted. $10 million for returning $320 million. The hacker did not respond. Within 24 hours, something extraordinary happened on the other side of this story. Jump Crypto, the firm behind Wormhole, injected $320 million of their own money into the protocol. They made every user whole, every single one. It was one of the most staggering acts of institutional backing in DeFi history. A private company absorbing a $320 million loss overnight to protect its users and its reputation. The bridge was back online, but the hacker still had the money. So, who did this? In traditional finance, a $320 million heist would trigger FBI raids, international warrants, and years of investigation. In DeFi, in 2022, it triggered forum posts. The blockchain community pored over every transaction, every wallet, every timestamp. What they found was a hacker who was exceptionally technically skilled, someone who understood the Wormhole codebase intimately. This wasn't a lucky stumble. This was weeks, possibly months of studying the protocol's source code, which was, like most DeFi projects, publicly available on GitHub. The exploit required understanding not just Solana's programming model, but the specific quirks of deprecated system calls, the exact behavior of Wormhole's signature verification logic, and the precise sequence of transactions needed to extract funds without triggering alarms. This was the work of an expert. The stolen funds initially sat largely untouched. Large amounts remained in the hackers' wallets for months, a common pattern in crypto theft, where moving funds too quickly can trigger exchanges to freeze withdrawals. Over time, though, portions of the funds began moving through mixers, privacy tools designed to obscure the origin of cryptocurrency, and through decentralized exchanges that don't require identity verification. Years later, blockchain analysts at Elliptic reported that a significant portion of the Wormhole funds had been traced moving through Tornado Cash, the crypto mixer that the US Treasury had controversially sanctioned in 2022, making it illegal for American citizens to use. But the core identity of the hacker, unknown. No arrest has been made, no charges filed, no extradition. As of today, the hacker who stole $320 million from Wormhole remains a ghost. The Wormhole hack did not happen in isolation. 2022 became the most devastating year for crypto security in history. In March 2022, just weeks after Wormhole, hackers struck the Ronin Bridge, the blockchain powering the massively popular game Axie Infinity. They stole $625 million. The FBI later attributed the attack to Lazarus Group, a hacking collective linked to the North Korean government. In August 2022, the Nomad Bridge was drained of $190 million in a chaotic exploit that anyone could participate in once the first hackers showed how it was done. In total, more than $3 billion was stolen from DeFi protocols in 2022 alone. The pattern was always the same: an innovative protocol, enormous amounts of money, code that was reviewed but not reviewed enough, and a single flaw, sometimes one line, that an attacker with enough patience and skill could find and exploit. The crypto industry was being stress-tested in the worst possible way. Security researchers began calling bridges honeypots, irresistibly attractive targets that concentrated massive value in smart contracts that were inherently difficult to secure. Because bridges had to be complex, they had to coordinate across multiple blockchains with different consensus mechanisms, different programming languages, different edge cases. More complexity meant more attack surface. More attack surface meant more opportunity for someone brilliant and ruthless to find a crack. The Wormhole hack forced a reckoning. Protocols began spending millions more on security audits. Bug bounty programs grew, some offering tens of millions of dollars for responsible disclosure. New bridge architectures emerged that tried to minimize the amount of value held in a single contract at any time. The lesson was written in blood, or rather, in vanished ETH. Here's the thing that keeps security researchers up at night. The Wormhole hacker was not a nation-state. They were not a criminal organization with hundreds of members. They were, in all probability, one person, maybe a small team, someone who read open source code, found a mistake that dozens of other smart people had missed, and exploited it, legally, in many jurisdictions, in under 10 minutes. They didn't break encryption. They didn't hack a server. They didn't do anything that violated the laws of mathematics. They simply read the contract, found what it promised to check, realized it wasn't actually checking it, and walked through the open door. $320 million. 10 minutes, one person. In the world of DeFi, code is law, but code is written by humans, and humans make mistakes. The cursor blinks. Somewhere, someone is reading code right now.